all want to make money by doing something we love. If you could turn your hobby into your job, you'd never work a day in your life, right? Welcome to Hobby Hustle, the ultimate podcast where collecting passion and business collide. Now, here's your host, Zach Nygett.
Welcome to episode 6 of Hobby Hustle. I'm your host, Zach Nygett, and I appreciate you taking a moment from your busy day to spend time with us. Your support means the world, and I hope you enjoy our show today. Today's guest is an entrepreneur who pivoted from owning a small electronic repair business into pursuing his passion as a collector. In 2021, he decided to take the plunge as a full-time sports car dealer. Since then, he's traveled the country setting up at trade shows, ranging from small local shows all the way up to major national shows. He's hustled his way up from humble beginnings into a portfolio featuring big-time basketball and football cards. He's passionate about meeting new people, making connections, and seeing kids grow in the collectible space. You can find him on Instagram at MF_Whiz. I'm honored to welcome a friend, passionate collector, father, and full-time dealer Whiz to the show. Whiz, thank you so much for joining, man. How are you today?
Baby. How are you, bro? I appreciate the opportunity, man, to even grace the podcast, bro, and that you would even do something like this and I would come into mind, bro. So I really do appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you blessing us on the podcast, man. You know, this is something we're just getting going. We've gotten a lot of good feedback, but just honored to have you on the show. It's been so fun, and we'll get into this, you know, getting to know you over the years. We've built our relationship, but like I said, man, I think it's an honor, and I think you've got a lot of really cool insight that you're going to be able to share with the audience today.
No, for sure, for sure. I'm looking forward to it, man. I hope I help someone, achieve whatever it is they're trying to achieve in life, you know?
Totally, man. Well, hey, I know, that you're at card shows in different cities almost every weekend. Just sort of curious, what are some of the current trends you're seeing in the market and some advice you could give to people out there?
Well, right now, for sure, QBs, Kyler Murray is a sneaky buy. I mean, I think that people are. I feel like this, like Kyler Murray, like if you, you see a lot of people chasing high end and big high end cards. I feel like right now, if you don't have, the money you feel like you need in this space, man, I think Kyler Murray will probably be a great, buy because he transacts so well. Because people are saying like nothing but upside on them, so you can get them really cheap and transact them. Just do that strong until football season starts. I think you get out football season by the time it starts, and you will do well with Kyler Murray in the off season. But also, Jordan Love is hot. Victor Wemby, man, he's on fire. That boy cannot be stopped. No matter what product it is, man. And I feel like people are, and it's like the CJ Stroud thing, but Wemby's a little hotter. People are more so, they don't know what's going to happen because Panini doesn't have the autograph rights to those guys. So, those big NTs, we automatically knew like, okay, NT is unattainable, it's for the big dogs. You know what I'm saying? That's their biggest card. But now it's kind of like, it returns back to the people, where a dude could randomly get into a select break and pull a Wemby Zebra or courtside or pull a Prism Gold or pull a, whatever is the next best thing up. So, when things like that, it does shake up the hobby a little bit because to me, it gives power back to the little guys, the guys that are opening the packs, the guys who necessarily don't have $40,000, $50,000 to spend on a card,
Yeah. No, I love it. And I saw that you had a couple Wemby Zebras, so congrats on those recently.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
that.
Those got to move through the hands, man.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
What's that?
No, I said for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, dude, Wemby, listen, the guy is a freak. Obviously, he wasn't playing on a super strong team, but he definitely showed out, what he's capable of. And, them adding Harrison Barnes and CP3, I mean, those are some good vets for him to continue learning from. So that's exciting. That's awesome, man. Well, hey, so with all the guests, I love to learn about your sort of collecting origins. So could you tell us a little bit maybe about your first memories of collecting or what got you started?
Okay, so when I originally collect, I didn't even identify with it. Even when I got back into the sports car space, I never identified with it because I don't know. I just looked at it as a childhood thing. But like when I was a kid, we used to collect Pokemon. I don't know. We used to love the show, and we used to go to Kmart. Me and the homies, we used to walk to Kmart, and we would buy packs. I go to my mom, or if it was Christmas or something, I might have something left over, and I'll go to Kmart and get packs. And they always were accessible, so we get packs. And then we would meet kids and trade, stuff like that. And I think I ended up, my favorite was a Blastoise because originally I played Game Boy, and I ended up with, and it didn't even matter. I ended up with blue over red for Christmas. So from there I was a Blastoise dude, Squirtle guy, War Turtle, that was my thing. And we used to collect. and we used to collect Pokemon. And then like when we got like of age, let's just say like 6th grade, 7th grade, it was always around the time when we liked our first girl. We would come back to the boys and have this epiphany, man, how we getting older. Our chest poked out a little bit and be like, man, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore, bro. I'm too old for this. So we would take our cards. And at the time I lived in an apartment. So we would go to the highest floor in the apartment. And the younger kids, it was crazy. They knew it was like a coming of age. So they'd be around like, man, such and such about to give away all his Pokemon cards. So like everybody, when they got old enough, man, we would just take all the cards, like all the hollows we had, bro. And we would just throw them off the building, and the kids would be down there like, Charizard, you know what I'm saying? They'd be grabbing them, and then of course they hit the floor, but the kids would be out there grabbing them up, and that was just like that was our exit out of collecting cards. And everybody that I knew, like 3 or 4 homies of mine, we all did the same thing, And at the time, we just playing around kids, and it was like we looked at it like getting out of that, and it was girls, but focusing more on sports, things like that, because everybody, had the ideas, NBA, basketball, baseball. So it's like we started locking in that stuff. So we felt like because the cards were associated with the cartoon. And we were getting older, so we associated those two things together. Like, I ain't watching cartoons anymore. I watch MTV Real World, you know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. So that was the beginning of collecting cards. I just didn't know, that's what I was doing. We never put a significant value on it, man. We just, watch the cartoon and whatever was the hottest Pokemon. And Pokemon, they all got their own light. So it's just like whatever ones that we like, I was a Gengar dude, Ghastly, I enjoyed those, I enjoyed it, like I said, Blastoise. So it was like, but that's what happened. And then fast forward, I didn't even know sports cards existed. Like I didn't know this world existed, just like when I talk to most people, they don't even know, like, they like, what? You say sports cards, they're like, oh, you do cars. You know what I'm saying? And every time, and this is for everybody in this space, when they tell people they do sports cards, everybody says cars. Yeah, man, it's and you be like, no, like the men on the front and the cardboard, but yeah, that's how I originally, started collecting.
That's awesome, man. I love that story. And I think, that's as far as like sort of the origins of that's I think similar to a lot of us, like you and I are similar ages, and it's like you were into it when you were younger, and then girls sports school sort of went away from it and then came back to it, later in life. And it's become so much of a business. I think it's interesting, that you brought up that there really was no value, because back in the day, I was a huge Horace Grant guy, right? So I'd be willing to trade, Jordans and all these other guys for Horace Grant, because that's who I liked. Like,
for sure.
So, that true passion is still there, man, which is super awesome. So you obviously have grown quite a bit from that, as far as a collector. Can you tell us a little bit about sort of how your collections evolved into what you're into today?
Today, I think that I don't know what I noticed, man, with every hobby, I was just getting my car detailed. It was a new spot. I never went. My sister told me, and then there was a dude there. And he was with his detail shop, he actually creates bikes. Like the little low riders with the big handles and stuff like that. And this dude is from Ohio. So I'm like, how is they correlating, with that? But what I was saying was that he was saying that he made the bikes because when he was a child, he couldn't afford them. So now as an adult, he does the bikes, and these are the bikes that he wanted. So I was saying, like, with my collection, how I correlate that in is like, for me, my PC is things that I grew up on. Like I didn't always because like I played sports in high school. So it was kind of like, for me, it was like sports, my real life. So I never wanted to like put the two together. Like I didn't want to be the guy after the championship game, we lose and it's crying and uncontrollably crying. I'm like, man, this is my job, or this is what I do, but it's like, this is my life. So at the same time, like, watching Will Smith, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, or like my grandfather knowing Red Fox. So now I got Red Fox pieces, what I'm saying, with an auto, BGS 95. Also watching different things on TV. I think, what else is in my PC? Muhammad Ali, a letter for cue card from Muhammad Ali, like watching stuff like that and just coming up in those eras. I have a Josh Gibson Bowman First red number to 5, even though I know that the Bowman First and that, but it was like in today's world, it just made sense to me. Even behind me, I got the NWA album signed by Ice Cube. These are comics on the back, special edition with Wu-Tang, what I'm saying? So things like that. Like I love hip hop artists, Jay-Z. I got Kanye West pieces. Just things that made up who I was. I know everybody was big sports guys, but because like I played it, my coach would be like, make sure I go home and watch the NFL on Sunday and you watch your position. You know what I'm saying? So I'm watching Sunday football watching my position. So I've never even, I always got favorite players, but I played defensive line, mostly, and then I played linebacker. So it wasn't a lot of, like Hollywood dudes that played those positions. You got Brian Urlacher, Ray Lewis, other names, Jeremiah Trotter, but the big names were skilled positions. So when I'm watching sports, I'm watching my positions, trying to become a better player in the game. You know what I'm saying? So I never really got really deep into athletes. So that's why you would see my PC is more so pop culture, because those are the guys that for me tune when I was alone. I feel like the difference between sports and music is that music allows you to get more intimate with the artist, which means like you can find relations and relate to them in a different way than you can relate to an athlete, because the athlete only chooses to give you that portion of their life. But with music, it kind of comes with it.
Yeah. I love that, and I think that's really cool. And I think, you and I have talked about this obviously numerous times in person, but, you mentioned some really influential athletes and people, who broke through barriers and stuff like that. And I don't want to get too much off topic, but I would love to sort of let you give us, a few minutes of your thoughts on sort of what breaking through those barriers, diversity, inclusion types of that, in the hobby space, and sort of what you've seen that whole sort of transition start to take place.
Well, I think that I don't know. What I would say is like when I first came into the space, I'm coming into the space, and I
Yeah.
didn't know that. I didn't know that, I would be, one of the first, or I'll be the first to do this. I didn't know what the demographics look like in this space. I didn't know who was who, and no one knew me. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And I am thankful that in this space, people got to know me and people gave me opportunity, to get to know me. And then, then they judge me, based upon my character. You know what I'm saying? And my character, or whatever that may be. I do feel like in this space though, I feel like even in this country, it's a lot to change. What I will say is that I sell sports cards for a living, cardboard. So I'm very grateful for that. And I would say that, this is the greatest country on the planet, you know what I'm saying? Regardless of what's going on, you know what I'm saying? And I also agree that man, we came a long way and we still got a long way to go. That's why, like, even for me, right, I would share personal information on my card page. Well, I don't really on my only page, because I think it's important that we look at, when I talk to my grandfather who just died at 80 something years old, he can remember different things and how things was. And it's like we're not so far removed. If I can go to my grandfather and he tells me a story about this, that, and the third, or this happened, or I remember how I was then, or we were living in a garage until my father hand built our home. You know what I'm saying? We're not that far removed from that.
Yeah.
So it's just like and I feel like inclusion in the space, I do feel like it's something that we can work on, man. I think that, man, we is a movie by Spike Lee. It's called Do the Right Thing.
Yeah.
And there's a scene in the movie where the character Spike Lee plays is Mookie. Mookie is a pizza runner, and he works in an Italian pizza shop that's in the middle of Brooklyn. So it's like a predominantly black neighborhood, but you gotta have the pizza there. You gotta take pizza. And he's talking to the owner's son. I forgot his name, but it's Vinny's son, and he asks him like, "Bro, like, what's going on?" You know what I'm saying? He's like, "Why don't you look at me the same way you look at Eddie Murphy, Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, Prince?" You know what I'm saying? And I feel like and the dude in the movie, it's a really touching spot, because in the movie, the dude, he cannot correlate Mookie, Spike Lee to those people, because he looks at them, he idolizes them, and he's like, they're so different. So in this space, it kind of like always was like, we love the people on the cards, but like when we're off the cards though, do you love us too? Still, you know what I'm saying? And my thing is like, I think in the space, man, this space is like one of the most like beautiful and twisted dark fantasy type, situations, because man, bro, I've never met this many kind people in my life. You know what I'm saying? And even for me, it changed my whole perspective about people, and I would hope that in this space, that I could do the same thing for other people. I understand that, for me, I come from predominantly, I live in the metro Atlanta, and then prior to that, I lived in metro Philadelphia. And if you look at the demographics there, it's highly densely black. So at the end of the day, like, that's what I know, you know what I'm saying? But it's people and the people that I know, like I grew up with, Jewish people, using Abba, Emo, Shalom. I grew up in a big melting pot, but it was still was a lot of us. But what I do realize is that when I go around the country, it's not like that for everyone's experience. So there may be people that have never personally met, African American people. When I was in school, there was a kid that was in high school with me, and he's from Iowa. He said he never met a black person till he was 12 years old. You know what I'm saying? And for me, that kind of blew my mind. But it's like at the end of the day, I can understand that, television and things like that, but I would hope that I could be a beacon of light, me, Ralph, Mike, Chase, George, or whatever. We can be a beacon of light for people that may potentially, and we have to that potentially never interacted with people, of different races because they're just in that bubble. And hopefully that we can be, a beacon of light and introduce them that, that all stereotypes are not true, and that's just the biggest thing for me. And I would hope that people who know me today would understand that too. And then I would have to understand that, whether it's Jewish, Indian, Chinese, or white, what I'm saying, white American, German, whatever, that those stereotypes for those people may not always be true either. And that everyone deserves a fair shake. And in this space, and I would hope that, we could all give everyone a fair shake.
100%, man. I think those are super true words. And, I can speak from my experience with you and, all your guys. Nothing but amazing people. You guys are stand-up guys that I enjoy hanging out with or without cards. Like we've
Sure.
gotten the opportunities to just hang out, and I think it's great that you guys are, hopefully inspiring to another generation, of the younger kids that are coming up who look like you and might not look like me or look like somebody else. And I think another cool thing about this hobby, and you and I have talked about this, is that it's not just about race diversity, it's about interest diversity and in the backgrounds, right? And that some of us have played sports and done all this, and maybe some of us are more geeky, right? And
For sure, for sure.
uncomfortable, but that the hobby and collecting brings us all together. We accept each other, for the most part, right? For who we are. And it really has
Sure.
become a beautiful thing, man. So I appreciate you touching on that, man. I know it's something that you and I, like I said, have talked about quite a bit. And I
For
just
sure,
wanted
for
to
sure,
make
for
sure that
sure.
we could touch on it. So
No, no, no,
let,
no. It's cool. I think that too. I'm sorry, and I think
yeah,
that too. I mean, and more so though, I do believe that the biggest prejudice in the space is people judge you off of your cards. I think that
yeah,
before anything, what I'm saying, before, or if a person has the wrong, as soon as you whip them cards out, I was like, oh, you one of them guys that I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So and I think that that's why even for me, like at one point in time, I did PC Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
I would try to showcase, cards that I actually like not just because it was a lot of money. And that was just me trying to tell the world that, bro, you don't gotta have a lot of money to collect cards. You don't have to have a whole bunch of money to buy the things you like. Like, look at me, bro. I got $20,000 card over here, but I love this $20 card. Or I
totally.
just put together $100 collection that doesn't even exist. That I just made up. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know, it takes you back to the childhood and the nostalgia. I just wanted to put it out there.
Totally. Yeah, no, 100%, man. Collect what you love. I know it's sort of cliche, but it's so important, and I still participate in PC Tuesdays. I know Gerald, Windy
No,
City Cards does, and
for
like we
sure.
all share that stuff around. But I do think it's important that, it's not just about the value of the cards, it's what the card means to you. And I've told a couple different guests on this show that we've talked about, like I get the biggest kick out of finding these random rare Bulls team set cards, right? That, they're $5-10, but to me, I love it. And that's just as cool as getting a multi-$1,000 card to me. So,
For sure. For
um,
sure.
so speaking on the business side, I
Okay.
want to transition a little bit to, you've been an entrepreneur. Can you tell us a little bit about your past background before you became a full-time sports card dealer?
Okay. So in the beginning, I had a clever idea. I said, man, I'm gonna graduate school. My family, my uncle, his name's Carl Ross. He's a barber, in New Jersey. So he had at one point in time he had like 6 barbershops. He taught like almost every barber in that community how to cut hair. So even his son is a barber. And then when he got older, he put a barbershop in a salon right next to his house. So as a kid, I would go to Uncle Carl's house, then I'd walk next door and it's like a barbershop, super booming, busy. You got pictures of Muhammad Ali in there. Muhammad Ali came there, came to the shop, chopped it up. They were all the older heads would be in there. Man, it was all like the barbershop, to me, it's like what a card shop is to you. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like
Mhm.
you go inside of there, people chopping about sports, saying everything. Everybody's in there. So I had became in love with being a barber, cutting hair. And then after high school, I started cutting hair. I learned how to cut hair, and then from there, it was crazy. So I'm cutting hair, boom, 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 and I go to Atlanta, and the iPhone comes out. Before I left, I think I bought an iPhone 3GS, and I sold that one. And then my boy, when I got to Georgia, he gave me his old iPhone. And then but he's like, bro, it's for AT&T. I was like, man, I got T-Mobile. So he was like, man, I don't know, bro. He's like, but you can have it. I'm like, cool, whatever. You know, I just sold the last one. I think I sold it for $130. And he was like, you could buy this one for 70. So I knew all else fails, I could just sell it. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna try to jailbreak the phone so I could use it for my phone. So bro, I was up till like 6 in the morning. And then by 6 o'clock came, the phone was jailbroke. And I put my SIM in there and I was like, ooh. So that was the beginning of the phones, the electronics. And then as a barber in the barbershop, people are coming, you know, dude breaks his phone right in front of me. And I'm like, damn. And he's like, man, it costs us this amount to fix the phone. And I'm like, light bulb goes off. I'm like, man, you know, and in a barbershop, you're renting your space. So realistically, bro, if you want to sell anything or offer any other service, the owner will be okay with it because you're paying him a weekly stipend to be there. So, I started just promoting, I fix phones, then one day somebody calls me on my bluff. They come and they're like, yo, and then at this time, I'd never even fixed the phone. Like my boy, he fixed phones. And the dude calls my bluff. He says, man, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna bring my phone. So I call my boy. I'm like, yo, man, dude's coming with the phone, bro. I told him this. He's like, don't sweat it, bro. I got you. So he pulls up at the same time. When I said, I make the appointment. He pulls up. I take the phone. I'm like, hold on, man. I gotta go outside. My apprentice is outside. And go outside. And my boy takes the phone and fixes it inside the car, like minimum space. And after that, I was hooked. I'm like, you gotta teach me. I gotta know. And then from there, I got into electronics, buy, sell, and trade, more so repairing on the aspect. And then we started repairing phones. And then from there, I did that probably from like 21 to probably like late 20s. I was doing that. So that's where it really started. And then at one point in time, in Georgia, we had a company, an office and everything like that, where we buy, sell, and trade, repair. We were trying to teach the public, house classes to teach the public how to repair their own items, like a subscription for that. But it never got off the ground. But those type of things prepared me for what it is today, that I do. I just look at it as lessons, originally. So I was a barber, and then I opened up my own cell phone, buy, sell, trade, and repair. And then after that, I got into cards.
That's awesome, man. And that's interesting that you mentioned that. And I was going to ask you is sort of, what are some of the key takeaways you think from, you said it yourself, buy, sell, trade, right? Electronics, and you're repairing them and things like that. But what are sort of some of the things you learned from that you were able to transition over to cards so easily?
Well, I know in life, man, right? The first time I ever sold something, I was in the 6th grade, and my boy, he said to me, he said, yo, bro, you ever had sour Skittles? And I was like, yeah, I had them before. And this is when they first came out. I was 6th grade, I never forget. And we used to go to Kmart, and they were 42 cents a pack. And my boy was like, bro, we could sell these for $1 at school, and then from there we were buying sour Skittles at 42 cents and then sell them at $1, and then we was killing it in 6th grade. And it was like the biggest thing was like, bro, we'll never have to ask our mom for money ever again. You know what I'm saying? That was like good. And then from there, and I think in high school, there was a spot where they had bulk tees. Back in the day, everybody used to wear white tees. So there was a spot where I could get 12 of them for $30. So I used to just buy 12 of them for $30 and then sell them $5 a piece. And I felt like I had the black and the white, and I felt like it was no better convenience for the school to be able to be like, yo, Whiz, Sky's, he got him in his locker on the 3rd floor. On the 3rd floor, because at lunchtime, you spill something, breakfast or whatever, you sweat it out, and you want a new fresh tea, and school full of women or girls at the time. They're definitely women today. But but yeah, so that was for me, like those things were training, getting me to get to where I'm at today. And by far, I'm not nowhere where I want to be at for sure, but I'm definitely on a good foot, I would say. But those experiences, just putting yourself out there, believing in yourself, and just stepping out on faith. I was just watching something yesterday. It was saying like the difference between like a dummy and a smart person. So like a smart person would potentially overanalyze stuff and never step out there and do it, and the dumb person would just go out there and do it. So I think those things were like experiences, just like being dumb. Like I had nothing to lose, so I just stepped out there and did it. So like today, it's a lot easier for me to step out there and do it. I'm looking to get into real estate, and as a business, you got to put 10% down. But I'm willing to risk, 10% down, and potentially not get anything back because I've been doing that my whole life, and And my thing is like, if I believe, I believe. And it's like, why not? Why not bet it back?
Totally. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be said about trusting your gut, in the collectible space, right? Like, because you guys are also dealing now. I know your inventory. I met you back in, I think, Dallas fall of 21 or something like that,
For
and
sure.
you guys were definitely the inventory. This is no knock on you, but you're getting started, so you're dealing with much smaller cards and stuff.
Sure.
Hundreds of dollars of cards, right? And now you're dealing with tens of thousands and more with cards, and so it's been cool to watch you grow, but that doesn't come without that financial risk. So how do you sort of handle that financial risk, as far as buying and selling, especially when you're dealing with high value stuff?
I don't know. Shout out to my boy Max Tucson Cards. One day we was at a trade night, and me and Mike sat next to him at the trade night, and we pulled out like cards. And dude
Yeah.
was like, bro, I got cards. You know what I'm saying? And we all fell out laughing. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew exactly what he meant. The same thing that you said. It's no knock, but it's like everybody was there, bro. We would like, especially me, I'll probably walk around like one or two cards, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like it might be like, $1,000, $500 together. No, definitely. I could definitely remember that. And I feel like that's bringing up the belief and building it up and getting you to that point. I feel like today, managing that, man, it's a lot more spreadsheets. A lot more dealing with the bank. It's a lot more frustration walking into the bank and trying to, take that money out or going throughout the country. And, because like now, bro, when I was younger, I didn't have a primary bank. I have a primary bank so that, people there know me and stuff like that. But I mean, dealing with, spreadsheets, man, definitely, higher risk. But you just keep it the same, man. You keep it the same and try to stay focused, bro. And don't let the numbers, deter you or make you feel nervous about where what's going on or what your system is. The same things that got me here is the same things that's going to take me to the next level. So I got to keep my mindset. Just because I got to sit on, 20, 30, 10, $5,000 card, it's cool. It's okay. You know what I mean? Keep working on the other hand. I love, I tell people all the time, like, especially like my friends who, just get into the space or the capital's not there, man. I love when my money's tied up because now I gotta make money appear, out of nothing. And then this money is the money that I'm making appear out of nothing. Like that's all good money because the money that I need is over here tied up. So this is all green money. It's all in the green. So it's like, and I feel like when you're down to nothing, when your money is tied up, what I'm saying, into cards stuff like that, it makes you get clever. It makes you start doing things that potentially you wouldn't do before, making trades. Like it's some like, and then now when I would say that, it's financially better, I still go off of those same, steps. Some shows I go to, I might have a pocket full of money, but I just rather just trade. I want to focus on these 3 cards that I need to trade. So it's like I go to the show and I focus on these 3 cards and try to trade those cards. It's like I think that in the space right now is getting overly competitive with repackers and then with people, all doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like at the end of the day, I feel like you always got to go left when everybody's going right, or find a different lane where it's like it's not as competitive, where you can, flourish at. That's why I said some shows I go in there and I just trade, because I think that I can get the best value out of trading. Especially
So
when I don't have a table.
talk to us a little bit about that strategy with trading. A lot of times are you looking to trade that bigger piece down for smaller stuff because it's easier to move? Are you looking to consolidate, or does it just sort of depend? Like, what's sort of your thought process when you're talking about those things?
I think that trading, I would trade up or trade down. It's like my thing is just trying to refresh the inventory a lot of times. And then a lot of times, but at the same time, you have to, I don't know, it's really hard because it's like you want to make sure you only got one chance. You know what I'm saying? Really, when a person says yes, you only have one chance. So it has to be the right stuff.
Yeah.
It has to be the stuff like, and for me, I'm trying to remain, I focus on liquidity over value. You know what I'm saying? I want to stay liquid. It could be something like a card that I can't sell like right away. Like maybe I picked up a 2nd year Anthony Edwards Black Select Black 1 of 1 auto PSA 10. That's not a card. That's not a card that you could just sell tomorrow, but it doesn't mean that it's not liquid. You know what I'm saying? So it's like those type of pieces. And then it's like, what do I trade that for? And then it's like suggested value. Someone might not value it the same way you do, but you got to remember what you have into it. I think a lot of it, man, with trading is man, stay humble, bro. Remove the ego, man. Remember what you're here for. Because you may have a card that you value at 8,000 and the dude wants to value it at 6, but realistically, you only have $4,000 cash in there. Bro, get out your ego. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're still making money. So keep going. But it's like some people like, nah, he wasn't buying my card at 10,000 or 8,000. And you might have all the surrounding facts to support that. But it's like, what are we here for? We here to keep it going, keep it going. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like you just remain humble, man. With trading, I'm cool with trading up or down, man. I just trying to get the value.
Yeah, where you find best value. That's awesome. Well, sort of speaking of value, I know that you have already mentioned a couple of these guys, and you value, the community that you've built. So shout out, Ralph, Mike, Chase, all those other guys, and you guys traveled together a lot. Can you sort of talk to us a little bit about the relationships you've made through the hobby and sort of how those impact your business?
Now for sure, yo, let's get it. Let's get the shout outs right, man, because they're gonna murder me for that. You know what I'm saying? So we got George, we got Ralph, we got Mark, Kobe Collector 81, we got Chase, we got Mike, we got Wallows, we got everybody. You know what I'm saying? So look, if I forgot you, we got Big J, Orange Jeep, Big Orange Jeep, we got Ev. You know what I'm saying? Yo, it's so many people. I just don't want to forget nobody. But
Fair. A lot of love to go around with.
No, for sure. But the connections, as far as people, man, it's always from the day one coming into this space. I feel like what made us really unique, right, is that when you come into cards, right, you have to I call it a buddy program. Like people can't really just walk through the front door of a card show and be like, yo, I'm down with the hobby now. You know what I'm saying? Because it's too many smoke screens, it's too many subsets, it's too many genres, it's too much knowledge to take in so you can understand what it is that you can buy. You know what I'm saying? What you're supposed to buy and what you're not supposed to buy. And understand why this is better than that and that is better than this. Unless you have a lot of money, but a lot of people don't have a lot of money to kick out to just for trial and error to figure out, a hobby. So what was unique was that we had a great network. You know what I'm saying? Like rest in peace to Big Jesse. But I think like Jesse, Ralph and Jesse go way back. So it was kind of like a order line. Like if you had if I needed help with information about cards, I could always reach out to Ralph. Then if Ralph didn't know, he could reach out to Jesse, or he might put Jesse on three-way with me, and we all talking about the same card. You know what I'm saying? And from there, then I would know. And then even today, Ralph has built this up, me and Mike. So it's like, we all can discuss the same thing and what we think value is. Or I could talk to Mike then and discuss value. I felt like that was really unique in this space for a group of people that knew each other outside of cards to already have a network of cards to discuss with. Because, sometimes like knowledge is power. And I think people know that. So it's like in this space, people don't share secrets. Like if you ask somebody, man, how do you get the value of a one-on-one? They'll be like, oh, and this dude, and they buy one-on-ones all the time. Like, oh, I don't know. I just guess, you know what I'm saying? But it's really, it's a formula to do that. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, because me and him don't come from the sandbox, he's not sharing that. But it's like, I could go to the people that I'm with in my network and get that. Like even Kobe Collector 81, Mark, he just started coming to shows. He always been a collector and always online presence, but he just started coming to shows. But even him being able to bounce ideas off of him because the way he buys. And I think that is what they say, your net worth is only as big as your network. And I think that the cards in the card space, that's proven. People lose jobs all the time, man, and they're bouncing to the next company, or they leave the company because it's always opportunity in this space. I'm pretty sure even for you recently left sports card investor, but I'm pretty sure people offered you gigs because they like how you move, they like who you are, they like how you talk, and it allows you to stay inside of this space. Man, there's no other space like that in this world, and I would hope that somebody, if ever needed, would have a job for me out there too. But I mean, that's a beautiful thing though, man, to be in something that you call a hobby that you can really realistically live off of, whether you're selling cards or just working for a company inside of this space, man. It gets no better than that,
Yeah. No, I feel that. And I think that's great. And a common thread with a lot of guests too is just the strength of the community, right? And like having your people and how important it is to have a mentor, or mentors. But I've always enjoyed seeing you and your crew, interacting with you guys. Like I said, bunch of high class dudes. And it's just always fun catching up with you guys and bouncing those ideas off of you. So I appreciate you being willing to be part of my sounding board, Whiz.
No, for sure. No. Oh man, you've helped me out, man. Plenty of times, man, whether it's words of encouragement, what I'm saying, or sideline and deals, man, and you're rooting for me on the side. So
Totally.
that's and we'll just keep it there, But but you know what I'm saying? So it's like stuff like that, man, on the journey, man, you never forget. You never forget stuff like that, no matter. So it's like, man, I know when you propel to where you're going and I'm going where I'm going, man, we can meet at the top.
Yep.
I'm still holding you up to that Aspen or Colorado situation. I don't know where it's at, but one
Yeah.
day I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there.
You are welcome to come out, man. We can definitely arrange that. You know that invite is
Appreciate
always
that, bro.
open, my
I
friend. It's
appreciate.
not
I haven't
Aspen though,
forgot.
that's for sure.
Okay. It does look to me. It would be like Aspen. It would
There
be
you go.
almost the same.
There you go. That's awesome. That's awesome. So hey, I think we talked a little bit about the grind, right? And what it's like to go to and travel to a lot of these shows. I mean, yeah, you guys are doing deals online all the time, things like that. But I think, some people see just the social media, just the YouTube and think that this is a life of luxury, right? But can you tell us a little bit sort of about like day to day, week to week? What is it like being a full-time car dealer and what does it take?
Dark side of car dealing. um, no, I mean, to be honest, I mean, well, let's start with like a Thursday. Let's say $1.
Yeah.
Waking up, you gotta get up super early. And for me, I live like 45 minutes from the airport, and then I'm more of a like a time guy. Like I like to be able to take it slow, man. If I wanted to get coffee, I don't drink coffee, but if I wanted to stop somewhere, I could do that. So if my flight is at 6, I'm leaving the house at 3 to get to the parking lot at 4 a.m. You know what I'm saying? So that takes a
Mhm.
strain, and then I'm leaving my family. I got a beautiful daughter and my girl, what I'm saying, I'm leaving her too. So it's like at the end of the day, that's a strain on you, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because now it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You're there. And then a lot of times, like a Dallas, Friday, you go to the show, or Thursday, you go to the show, then it's a trade night. And that trade night, that might be a light one. You sleep at 12, but you're waking back up at 7. And then the next day is Friday. So you might trade night, the show's over at 6, 7 o'clock. Trade night is from like 8 to 2 in the morning. So
Mhm.
once that's over with, 2 in the morning, you still gotta wake up super early because you still want to be the first person. You want to be the first person in the show. You know what I'm saying? And in the beginning for me, it was kind of like I always tell my boys, like, man, if you don't have the capital, bro, it's a lot of people in this space that have a lot of capital, but what you can control is how hard or how much a person can outwork you, how hard you work. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times when people already have money, they don't really like to work hard. It's super rare to see those two things come together.
Mhm.
But it's like what I always say is that be the first one in and the last one out. So that's a strain on sleep. You know what I'm saying? That's the point I'm getting at. It's a strain on sleep. So you're doing that. And then Sunday you get to go home or whatever. You're gonna probably catch a late flight because the show, you want to grind out the show, and you get back on Monday and you're completely drained. You really want to sleep that whole day till 3 in the afternoon. And
Yeah.
for me, I have a daughter, so it's like my girl, she's been watching it. So it's kind of like at the end of the day, since I've been gone for 3, 4 days, with the homies, at the show, so I kind of feel bad. So it's kind of like let me watch my daughter, what I'm saying, and stuff like that. So it's then back to full time, daddy mode. But then I also got these cards that I bought. And today we live in a world where we put cards on spreadsheets and, send them to the beyond. You know what I'm saying? So like I got to do a spreadsheet, so if I bought, 100 cards or 50 cards or 300 cards, I got to sit on a spreadsheet, do that. Also on the spreadsheet, I got to do the profit and loss. Even though I do have a CPA, the profit and loss could take anywhere between 4 to 6 hours. It's kind of like, bro, damn, I did this because I thought it was easier, but it's kind of like, now it's becoming, you're wearing multiple hats. It's becoming
Yeah.
a full time situation. So let's say Monday and Tuesday I get done with that. And then not to forget, now I gotta ship packages. I gotta get to the FedEx, and I gotta package this stuff, put it in a box, print the label out, then get the FedEx. And then at the same time, I gotta still take my girl to the grocery store, get stuff for the baby, get
Mhm.
dog food, get this, get that. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like you try to squeeze all that in there, and then you still want to buy online, and then you still want to watch Game of Thrones with your girl, House of Dragons or whatever, you know what I'm saying? You still
Yeah.
want to do that stuff. And it's like, a lot of my idle time is in the airport or in the plane. But it's like, I can't not watch this show because she's like, oh yeah, you watching it without me. That so it's like, but what I find myself doing, I put on my calendar, try to read 2 hours on Tuesday and Thursdays. Those are the days that I try to read. So those type of things, man. I hope that answered the question. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm
No,
rattling and
I
rattling.
think it's great. Like the point is that this hobby, doing what you're doing, is a grind, right?
For
Like it
sure.
takes hard work, it takes dedication. You got to wear multiple hats. But I think because of the impact of social media, right, and everybody just sort of sees the quote unquote highlight reels, right?
For sure, for
That
sure.
they think, oh, it's easy. You just walk in, you move some cards around, and it's good to go. But it's like there's so much more. And like you said, I know that you're a great father and, a boyfriend and everything else. And like you got those other responsibilities that, take up a ton of time, and you've only got a small portion of that time to try to do all this other stuff where you're trying to, make a good life for yourself and your people. So I think it's really insightful. And I love to hear different people's takes on it because again, I think it's glorified on social media, and sure, there's some people that, can make a few deals because they're dealing with, these super high end cards. But like you said, that's a small percentage, right? There's a lot more of us who are sort of dealing in the lower end. Not that you are lower end at all, but I'm just saying
no,
in
man,
general,
I'm all in.
You gotta,
High, low,
you can make money on the $100 card. You can make money on the $1,000 card. You can make money on the $10,000 card. And it all adds up, but it's not just as easy as I think some people make it out to be.
No, for sure. I definitely feel like people glamorize it and stuff like that. For me, I mean, and I understand. I feel like people understand who the real movers and shakers are in this space. So it's like you could tell, and I know there's a dude that is giving advice or something like that or whatever, and that's cool too. I'm glad that I'm like, damn, I should have thought of that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, maybe people believe coming from me, it'd be more validity to that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I will say that man, with anything, man, if you want it, you got to go get it. And it's not just buy a card and go to a show and people might not want it.
Yep.
You might have bought this card online and thought this was the one, and you get to the show and nobody wants it.
Yeah.
So it's like, what happens then?
Well, totally. And like you said at the beginning, like as far as trends, it's spotting those trends and understanding who's hot, who's not. Obviously with anything, there's going to be risk, especially with the athletes. It's like guys can get injured, guys can make some, poor choices. Whereas with some of the non-sports, like you were mentioning Pokemon earlier, like that's a little bit safer in the sense that, Charizard's not going to go break an ankle, right? Like he's going to, continue to do his thing. But I think those are all really important lessons. Speaking of sort of lessons, I'm curious, you've talked to us about some of the challenges you've overcome, things like that, but what are sort of the most rewarding aspects that you've been able to do, as a full-time sports card dealer?
Man, I've been to London for a card show. I stayed a week. Man, Brixton, just travel through the city, man. I also do spoken word. I'm a poet. So, I performed in London 2 times.
That's awesome.
I got an invite to Shanghai. They actually have a poetry spot out there. So next time they do that show in China, man,
the Macau show, man.
Yeah,
Whiz the poet soon.
Man, for sure. So I'll try to link that together. Yeah, and then traveling through the country, I mix it with the poetry, trying to find spots. Like Cleveland is a spot, man. If you're down, I don't know if you're gonna be there, but it's a spot. They got a spot. It's a poetry spot, and it's like a rooftop where you can see the skyline of Cleveland too.
Killer.
I'm gonna hit that up. But the things to go on vacation. I've been in Dominican Republic. I've been to Toronto. I'm about to buy my first duplex. In the process of doing that, man, I was able to pay off all my debt. I'm debt free because of cards. I just bought a car. It ain't nothing crazy. A little Lexus GX,
There you go,
truck. Man, and when I get the duplex, I'm gonna move my mama to the other side. So I don't know, bro.
A lot of blessings.
Man, it has changed my life, for sure. But like I said, everything I've done before this prepared me for this. To be able to take it serious. I tell young kids all the time. And shout out to Taxi Jacob. I was just having this conversation with him. Sometimes he feels like he fell off his like as far as the hype train or whatever. But I tell him all the time, like, bro, you're still young, bro. You're 20. You know what I'm saying? Focus in on life, man. You're supposed to live life. You're supposed to enjoy it. Don't get so caught up in the money. Because at the end of the day, man, those memories that you'll have, a lot of times those memories in your 20s and your teens, they don't really have anything to do with money. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
totally
chasing money over those dreams is kind of counterproductive. You gotta live your life and you gotta experience stuff. You gotta, because he goes to Morocco. If you go to Morocco and you stay there for 2 weeks and overspend, and man, you're young, bro. You can do that. You know what I mean? I can't afford to do that right now, but you can do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like at the end of the day, bro, man, I want people to remember, man, still live your life, man, especially if you're young. I mean, be focused. I commend those who stay focused and stay down, but don't beat yourself up, if you don't, because, man, you got to live life too.
Totally. Speaking about living life, We talked about all these blessings, and I know that you said that, you're buying this duplex, which again, congrats, man. That's freaking awesome. And that you might expand. What are some of the other goals that you have to where you want to go in the future with this?
I mean, as far as cards
Yeah,
goes,
just anything. Yeah, like
um,
what are the next steps in your mind? In the next 12 months, 2 years, 5 years, whatever, sort of where do you
for
want to take this
for
thing?
for me, I think the future is real estate. I know some things that I boggle through my mind that I want to do in the car space, because I do feel like the car space, man, it's a space where it's so young that you can create something in space, and that can potentially give you passive income or give you a really good income, where it gives you where you could put this on autopilot over here, and then you can go over into the real world and do whatever it is you want to do out there.
Mhm.
um I think that there's so many levels to cards, man. You can prep cards, you can grade the cards, you can middleman the cards, you can there's so many different things. You can have a store with cards, or you can open up cards online. You can
Mhm.
It's so many different layers to cards. It's really crazy that like this is his own world inside of it. There's actually more ways to get paid in cards than it is to go outside. You know what I'm
Totally.
saying? Because it's not that many businesses where you could skin a cat that many times, you know?
Yep. Yep. No, I think that's awesome. And this whole conversation has been awesome. And I love your perspective. And I think part of what I want to get out of this podcast and doing it for people is learning that, this entrepreneurship, right? Like, sure, the podcast is focused around collectibles, but to your point, you're taking your experience and the money and stuff that you're able to accrue doing collectibles, and you're putting it into other things like real estate and all these other cool things. And I think that that's what's so important to open people's eyes, right? Is that this is, it can be your entire career, or it can just be a jumping point, to whatever those next things are. And I just think that that's unique. Like you said, there's not everything in the world you can always do that with. And that's really cool. Well, this has been amazing, Wiz, and I want to be respectful of your time, but I ask all of our guests, if you could give or leave our audience with one piece of advice, sort of what would you tell aspiring collectors and entrepreneurs from your journey that would help them?
Now I've said this before, and I'm gonna say it again because I just think that it's helped me a lot. I think that, man, whatever it is you're trying to do or accomplish, I think that you should take your worst case scenario, whatever that may be. Your worst case scenario could be back at home with mom again, or your worst case scenario could be at my sister's house or whatever. But if your worst case scenario is not living in the street and panhandling for money, then I think that you should go out and try to accomplish whatever it is that you want to do, whatever your dream is. Because if that's your worst case scenario, then what's stopping you? And that was my only advice.
Yeah. I love that, man. Right? Chase your dream. Put it out there, go for it, and what do you got to lose, right?
For sure.
That's good. And you've been living that example, man. I think, like I said, it's just been so cool to be able to see you come up, Mike come up, some of these other guys who I've had the opportunity to sort of see your card career unfold in front of me, as
Uh,
I've been in it with you guys. And it's just awesome. And it truly, truly is inspiring. And I appreciate you again taking the time to come on the show and sort of talk through that. So I guess, are there any sort of upcoming projects? This episode will actually air post national. So I know that there's some other big stuff, Fan Fest, Burbank, some other big shows, but what else, anything exciting that you have coming up that you want to share with the audience, or where they might be able to find
um,
you?
man, truthfully, man, you could just, man, find me at every major show, to be honest with you. At the National, we will be helping out my local hobby shop. So you come by and check us out. You'll see us, we'll be helping them out, some stuff for display. Thankful that, I have a relationship with my local hobby shop. I suggest you guys, create the relationship with your local hobby shop, man. It may take you somewhere one day. And then Fan Fest, man, not believe it or not, man, I'm not really a big fan. But
Okay.
at the end of the day, I think I will be there.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like the Mint meets this show. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's that. And the corporate side of the space, I've not yet broke into that. I don't know if I'm necessarily looking to do that.
Yeah.
So I think FanFest will be like a networking event, and at this moment, I don't have anything to network about. So,
Fair. Well, what
um,
about Burbank? Will you be at Burbank?
oh yeah, 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 for sure, for sure, for sure. Because Yeah, they're speaking my language. But I also man, shout out to Coach Collision, my boy Prism God too,
Yeah.
bro. I also be at Coach Collision September 13th. That weekend, there at the gallery.
Yeah.
So I definitely rock with bro since day one. And I'm really happy that the show's 2 times a year. If you're in the South, and you need a show to go to, it definitely would be. I definitely would suggest that show. But I think that's it.
Yeah, no, I can't say enough about Culture Collision, the thing that Roth, the team, you guys have all, put some time, effort, and energy into it. It's really cool, and it's awesome to see collectors come together there. And it's not just about the cards; it's about sneakers and comics and other collectibles. And there's a 3-on-3 basketball tournament, and they're really pushing the boundaries of what a card show can be. And I think others are taking note. So I
Sure.
think that's definitely a great shout out.
Sure.
And I've personally been to the show numerous times. I love it. Multiple guests of ours have talked very highly of it. So if you haven't been, definitely go check out Culture Collision. And I think you can just hit them up, culturecollision.com, and find tickets and info there. So that's cool.
That's what I'm saying too, though. Like, man, what type of love is that, man? So I said the space, man, is undefeated, bro. Like you said, multiple people on here
Yep.
talked about the show, and bro, people don't have to do that, you know what I'm saying? And but it's like, bro, it's the love, man, and the space, man. People want to see people win, bro. And I feel like people always forget, man, it's for the big dogs in the space, man. Bro, being American, bro, like subconsciously, bro, we all love the underdog story. So secretly, bro, everybody's rooting for the underdog.
Well, Wiz, this has been an amazing conversation and truly inspiring. I just want to thank you again for taking time to come on here, share your knowledge, share your stories. And I'm just excited to continue to see your journey and how you're going to grow in the coming years. So thank you so much. And I will see you at a show here in the near future, my friend.
Yo, thank you for having me, bro. I truly appreciate it.
Yes. Thanks, Wiz. We'll see you. Everyone watching, thank you for your time. I hope that you were able to learn something new or find some inspiration. If you enjoyed the show, please be sure to like, follow, subscribe, rate it, and of course, share with your friends. This is something I'm doing as a passion project myself. So the more that you can share it and put it out there, it really means the world to me. And hopefully we can continue doing this podcast and sharing some great stories. So remember, keep collecting, keep hustling, and we'll see you next week on Hobby Hustle, where collecting passion and business collide. Thanks so much.
Hobby Hustle is brought to you by Collector Creative. If you're a collectible brand or company looking for help with marketing, branding, design, or development, head over to collectorcreative.com and drop Zach a line. We'll be back next week. In the meantime, connect with us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at collector_creative. And be sure to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode. We'll see you next time on Hobby Hustle, where collecting passion and business collide.